Got back from down country, had a great drive, been out with Pirate, my mate Callum. Callum lives on a boat in the next town up the coast and doesn't work, so he offered to drive me to Taupo this morning, middle of the North Island, to pick up a new vehicle. Well, here we are, this is it. This is what I drove 3 hours away to pick up yesterday. It's pretty long in the tooth. This is, you could call it the first Defender. It's a 1987 Land Rover County V8. It's the Defender shape. It has got some of the nice interior, but it's not truly a Defender. Yes, it does have the coil spring suspension. Yes, it does have disc brakes and power steering, but it's not exactly a Defender. But it's good enough for me. I'm amazed. I won it by auction. It did take me a little while of deliberating and deciding, was I going to bid on this thing? Because it's not really what I wanted or needed, but it's an investment, so I've decided to go with it. Mechanically, it's all pretty good. Fuel economy wise, it still drove home using the same amount of fuel as the books said it would use when it was brand new. Yes, it's got a lot of dents. Yes, it's covered in stone chips, but being an aluminium body, there's no rust. It's a happy and healthy 38-year-old version of a pretty good vehicle. Being a Land Rover, people have walked around on it. It's incredible how many people want to stand up and walk around on a Land Rover simply because it looks like you can. I don't know what that's all about, but the top of the guards are absolutely hammered. What the next video is going to be about is me getting into doing some work on this. But first of all, what I want to do is give you a lap of it inside and out so you can see what's going to be coming up in the future videos. Let's start on the business end. Right, as I said, this is one of the V8 Land Rovers. It's an all aluminium 3.5 litre petrol V8. They came out with what they say was 130 horsepower. I'm not sure of the torque figures, but if you're a bit of a car buff that's interested in that kind of thing, I'm sure you'll be able to imagine what those torque figures were. At the moment, we're missing the air cleaner. I don't know why. Part of it's in the back. I don't know why it's not fitted. But it's good because it gives me more access to things so that I can get in and unbolt the things that need to come out. Looks like it's had a new alternator at some stage, or at least a new regulator on the back of the alternator. I'm pleased to see that it's got a power steering. One thing I'm going to have to attend to straight away is horrendous exhaust leaks. What I've found out is that somebody welded the pipes and didn't weld across the very top part of the pipe because they couldn't get to it, and so they just left it, for goodness sake. So we've got two horrendous exhaust leaks. There's evidence over here that this thing used to be on LPG. Can you see that valve in the fuel line? That valve in the fuel line was the solenoid that cuts off the fuel when the LPG is in use. I've already been underneath this vehicle and I've found the brackets for the old LPG tank and some of the lines for the high pressure LPG to bring it down to the front. I'll tidy those up. I'll take those out in due course. But the main course of action is to remove all of the black painted items under the bonnet, the heater, the brake booster, the brake tower, these reservoirs, all of these brackets, the radiator slam panel. I'll take all of those out, sandblast them, repaint them and refit them. There's a tiny little bit of rust on the rear bulkhead, which you'll see just underneath that clutch metal brake line that runs along the top. And there's a few dents in the bonnet to be taken care of where people have walked around on the bonnet. At the front it's got a sturdy bull bar that looks like it's been made by a previous owner. It doesn't look like it's a Land Rover approved accessory, but it does look super sturdy. I'm pleased with that. Getting back to these dents. Being an aluminium body, there's quite a different technique to removing dents than from a steel body. It takes a different skill set that some people get a chance to develop, some people never get the chance to work on flat panels of aluminium. I enjoy it. I found some tricks, and there'll be a lot of these small dents that I can take out without even damaging the paint. And that dent removal technique involves the use of various types of spoon, from teaspoons to dessert spoons to serving spoons. Back ends relatively undamaged and unmarked. Everything underneath is as you'd expect. It's just a little rusty, a little scratched, and a little worn. Now on this side, it's been parked against a tree, which is really unfortunate because it means that I've got about 4 days worth of work on this one side, but it's going to be enjoyable. That's why I bought the thing, so that I can show you guys how easy it is to work on a vehicle that's super practical, where you can unbolt every part of it, component by component, strip it down, clean it, fix it, put it back together again, pretty much by yourself. One of the first jobs we're going to get into is pulling out these seats out of the back here so that I can get access to these panels, and I'll begin stripping the doors down. We've got some pretty scabby door trims which I'll be able to re-glue and tidy up. Fancy this, look at that, a Land Rover with inertia reel seat belts. I am spoiling myself. Power steering, wind-up windows. Yeah, right, this is the Bentley of the Land Rover world. Anyway. Yeah, doing the dents. It'll be very enjoyable. It'll be very educational. Tippy-tapping away in the sunshine. It's something I'm going to get onto later on today. I'll remove these flares. Might take the wheels off to give me better access so that I can get inside and work up inside the guards to take out these nasty creases. Inside, this thing's pretty cavernous. It's a long way to the front. The reason I'm keen on this is that we can put all our market gear in this one vehicle and go down to the farmers market on Saturday mornings without having to take 2 cars like we've been doing for all of the last season. The central seat in this row will get removed, and the tables and gazebo can go down the middle. All of Anna's stuff can go on one side, my stuff can go on the other, and we'll tuck Melina into one of these corner seats and we're off to the market. Why don't we take this thing for a drive and I'll show you just how agricultural it sounds.